Mark, and thanks to everybody for showing up this morning. It is early, so we'll try to keep it pretty. We'll try to keep it pretty light. Cautionary statement: I can't seem to help myself from making forward-looking statements. Just a quick overview of the company. This is essentially an early stage, as Eric would say, high-impact copper and zinc exploration play. Background from the company: important. We have no debt. We just closed a tranche of a financing yesterday, so we have about $2.5 million in cash. We've already spent some money preparing for our drill program this summer. Our market cap's around $10 million, and we sit around 13 cents in the market. We have a very strong, a very large institutional shareholder component to our registry. It's over 30%. Commodity Discovery Fund, JP Morgan in the UK, Mackenzie Financial here in Toronto. They're our biggest shareholder. And also Rosso, that's Warren Irwin's group here in Toronto as well. We have about 13% insider holdings as well. I have about $250,000, actually exactly $250,000 invested in this of my own money. I have skin in the game, and I think that's always important for any company you're looking at. You want to see that. What we have on the ground is we have a regional scale block, over 1 million acres, and we have drill proven copper and zinc mineralization in two main zones, and lots of indications of other fantastic potential elsewhere in this belt. We'll get into that in a minute. And really what we have right now, and this is really one of the big changes with the company over the last year or two, we're applying it's a proven model. It's certainly worked elsewhere in the world, but we're applying it to our claims using some really technically strong people with a proven discovery record, and that's how we plan to hopefully make a discovery this summer. Just a bit about the team. It's a nice small team. I used to be a geologist. I guess I'm a CEO now, unfortunately. I guess I've kind of grown a beard in overcompensation. Sophia Harquell, she's a Harquell. Her family's been in the business for a long time. She's born into it. She does IR for us. Dwight Walker's a very straight-laced CFO, pardon me. He won't lead you wrong. Mike Dufresne, very well-respected geologist. He's been running the programs in the field for us for the past 5 years, really as long as Aston Bay has held this company. And of course, the big news for us, Dave Broughton is our chief geologist. He's the former chief geologist for Robert Freeland's Ivanhoe group. Founder of Kamoa-Kakula Flat Reef in Africa, really the best geologist I would say in the world to work on these kind of deposits, and we are certainly happy to have him here, both for his technical expertise and for the fact that he came to this company because he sees the same potential for discovery on our claims that he saw in Africa, and I think that's a fantastic stamp of approval for what we have. We are located in Nunavut. It is very far north, of course, but we have, it's a proven world-class district. We have the Polaris mine located, the ex-Polaris mine located just 200 kilometers to the north of us on the same mineralized trend, same age of mineralization. You can mine in the north. It's worked before, Polaris, Nanisivik, mine year-round, ship seasonally. It can be very profitable. We're on an island, so we're on tidewater. That's critical for base metal mines, getting energy in and getting your concentrates out. We're near infrastructure at Resolute, big airport. It's actually a great town, very easy spot to work logistically. And Nunavut itself, it's actually a very mining-friendly jurisdiction. And of course, we're in Canada, which is a great spot to be. It's much better than the Congo, a few other places. Our belt, we have a large belt. We have 100% ownership. It is over, I still think in acres, it's over 1 million acres, but even that doesn't satisfy some people. So I put a little picture of Prince Edward Island there, the province. We're not quite that big with our claim block, but it is very big. Again, we're along strike from the past producing Polaris mine. That was 21 million tons, 3% zinc, and some lead as well. This is elephant country for zinc, and we also think it's very prospective for copper as well. And we have multiple copper and zinc showings, about 140 kilometers strike length here. Here's a picture of the copper zone. You can see all that green rock and black. That is essentially just broken chalcocite mineralization, copper mineralization, malachite at the surface. Really, there's very few spots in the world you see anything like that. It's drilled by Cominco in the 90s, over 9,000 meters of drilling. You can see some of the highlights there. Important thing to note, multiple intercepts of tens of meters, multiple % copper, all at the surface and in the shallow subsurface. Very shallow depth of investigation with the drilling, about 150 meters. But it's very interesting. But this is the Arctic. We're very far north. I think this isn't the mine. The real interest here is it makes you question, well, what could possibly lie below? On the zinc side, right on the coast, we have a stratiform sphalerite and pyrite deposit. We did a 43-101 resource on it just in the last couple months. It's not huge. It's just over 1 million tons, but important to note the grade. It's over 10% zinc, about 1.5 ounces of silver. We're getting close to those Polaris grades. And again, this is just what sticks out of the ground. It's just what's at the surface, drilled very shallowly. And the question is, well, again, what lies below? So in some of these previous MIF summits here, or MIF shows, I've gone through the exploration concept here. I encourage you to go, actually come by the booth. I'd be glad to go over it there. Check out the web, the videos on the web. I stepped through this, how we think this deposit formed, and how we're applying the model here. The important thing to note here is that we have very flat-lying sedimentation. We're looking for sediment-hosted mineralization. What we see at the surface, we see some spectacular, what we consider leakage or overflow mineralization at the surface. But the problem is when you're looking for these flat-lying sedimentary hosted style mineralizations, if that layer doesn't exist, isn't exposed at the surface, you're just not going to see it. And so the question is, we see the potential, we see the indication from the mineralization that's at the surface. The question is, how do you look for, that big potential reservoir of metal that might be hidden at depth? And the answer to how you do that is just like with petroleum exploration. If you have a tar pit at the surface, you don't drill the tar pit. You do the geology, you do the geophysics to figure out where that big reservoir might be at depth. And so for the geology, well, I got the best geologists in the world, I think, to find these kinds of things, and we're doing that work right now. And then as far as the geophysics, this last summer we spent $2 million on a large airborne gravity gradiometry survey over a good portion of our claims, covered about 2/3 of it. Very expensive, about $2 million, 15,000 line kilometers, a lot of data. We're still working on processing this data, but really this is how we find these things. The minerals we're looking at, chalcocite, sphalerite, they're significantly more dense than the country rock of limestone. We expect that the gravity survey will help us delineate where those deposits might lie, and it also helps us see the underlying basin architecture of this belt. It's critical. Dave Broughton, he'll be here later this afternoon, but he'll tell you that that's how he found Kamoa-Kakula, in the Congo. These are the kinds of deposits that we're looking for: large, high-grade Kamoa-Kakula on the copper side, Polaris on the zinc side, or you can even look at Kapushi as well if you're familiar with that one. Again, fantastic results. We'll just take a quick peek at this stuff. Some fantastic targets, underneath the known drilling. This really is great validation of the model that we've been going through. On the zinc side, again, we have a 43-101 resource of 1 million tons of ore there at 10% zinc. Now let's give you a little sneak peek of that peninsula you see there that contains the seal ore body. With a little comparison to Polaris there. This is something we're working on right now. Just to give you a little sneak peek, if you can see the Polaris ore body to the right, the very small bit of seal zinc that sticks out of the surface there. And again, some significant potential along strike and down dip extensions on the zinc side. That's what we're working on right now. We should have a press release out on that coming up soon. And we're also continuing to work on the targeting for the copper as well. So this is where we are today. We're doing the geophysical interpretation, doing that drill targeting. We're in the financing right now. We've raised about $2.3 million so far. We're looking for another 1.7. We're going to be drilling this summer for discovery. That's the plan. So thank you very much, and come by the booth, and we'll give you a bit more explanation about what we're after here. Thanks.